Hello, and welcome to Crime Labs. As always, please like and subscribe to our channel to help us grow a voice for victims. Today, we'll be covering the tragic case of the Richardson family. The Richardsons were a normal, loving family of four: 41-year-old Mark, 48-year-old Deborah, 8-year-old Tyler, and 12-year-old Jasmine from Medicine Hat, Alberta. Mark and Deborah had been happily married for 15 years and were described by their friends and neighbors as being full of life and completely devoted to their family. Mark had recently received a promotion at work, so the family was looking forward to a well-deserved vacation. Life for the small family seemed pretty perfect. But on the 23rd of April, 2006, at 1 o'clock on a sunny spring afternoon, a little boy who lived next door arrived at the Richardson family home to play with 7-year-old Tyler Richardson. After the little boy didn't receive an answer at the front door, he went towards the back of the house. He passed by the basement window, where inside he saw two blood-soaked bodies lying on the basement stairs. The little boy ran home, alerted his parents about the discovery, and police were immediately called to the Richardson family home. Once police gained access to the home, they were met with a horrifying scene. The bodies of Mark and Deborah were found together in the basement, and the body of little Tyler was found in his bedroom upstairs. But there was something else. Jasmine Richardson was nowhere to be found. Authorities feared the worst, that Jasmine had become the victim of kidnapping. However, after only a few hours of their investigation, detectives concluded that Jasmine was not actually a victim of kidnapping, but was involved in the murder of her family, and so the hunt began. On April the 24th, 2006, police located 12-year-old Jasmine Richardson in the town of Leader, Saskatchewan, over 100 miles away from her family home, with 23-year-old Jeremy Steinke. Jeremy Allen Steinke was a 23-year-old jobless high school dropout who was living with his mother in a trailer on the outskirts of Medicine Hat, Alberta. Jeremy had groomed 12-year-old Jasmine and called her his girlfriend. Jeremy had a hard childhood, suffering from bullying from his peers, mental and physical abuse from his stepfather, and by the time he was 15 years old, he was abusing alcohol and self-harming before dropping out of high school. However, it wasn't until he was in his 20s that he adopted his well-known goth style and kept it when he realized it garnered the attention from the young girls he would spend time with at the local mall. One of the young girls that seemed to like his new look was Jasmine Richardson. It was when she created accounts on MindViz, MySpace, Vampire Freaks, and Zorpia that she also adopted the same style as Jeremy. It wasn't long before Jasmine and Jeremy met at a concert and started to spend time together both in real life and online. But due to their age gap and the bad influence that Jeremy seemed to be having on their daughter, Mark and Deborah didn't approve of Jeremy. They tried to put a stop to it by banning Jasmine from her computer, her phone, or spending time with her friends. But Jasmine and Jeremy quickly became upset at this newfound lack of freedom, and so they started concocting a plan. While chatting with Jeremy online, transcripts show Jasmine writing, "I hate them, so I have this plan. It begins with me killing them and ends with me living with you." And Jeremy responding, "Well, I love your plan, but we need to get a little more creative with the details." It was while Jeremy and his friends were watching the 1994 movie Natural Born Killers, in which a young couple commit a series of violent murders, that Jeremy realized that their plan had been given to them, except for one flaw. In Natural Born Killers, they always leave one victim unharmed, but Jeremy and Jasmine didn't want to do that. At this time, Jeremy even attempted to recruit a friend, Jordan Atfield, telling him about their plan and asking for his help. Of course, Jordan refused, but when he did, Jeremy began to threaten him, telling Jordan he would implicate him if they were caught. Fortunately, Jordan didn't give in to these threats. In the early hours of the morning, on the 23rd of April, 2006, Jeremy was partying with friends while Jasmine was with her family at home, asleep in her bedroom, waiting for Jeremy to arrive. While Jeremy was partying, he consumed a case of beer, several shots of vodka, several glasses of red wine, numerous lines of cocaine and ecstasy before making his way to the Richardson home. Once he arrived at their home, he dressed himself in a black neoprene face mask, black fishnet arm stockings, a leather wristband, and a neck bandana before sneaking into the Richardsons' basement. Immediately after Jeremy gained access to the basement, he was met with Deborah Richardson coming down the stairs. Deborah screamed out, and Jeremy started stabbing, frenzied and panicked. Hearing his wife's screams, Mark hurried down the basement stairs with a screwdriver to defend himself and his family. Unfortunately, Jeremy was able to stab Deborah 12 times before Mark arrived. Seeing Deborah being attacked, Mark immediately lunged at Jeremy, tackling him to the ground and attempting to stab him numerous times with the screwdriver before Jeremy overpowered him, took the screwdriver, and threw it away from him. Jeremy again used his knife and began stabbing Mark with the same frenzy he had shown Deborah. He stabbed Mark 24 times before Mark was able to ask why. Jeremy responded, "It's what your daughter wanted," before Mark passed away, lying next to his wife on the basement stairs. Jeremy then left Mark and Deborah and made his way upstairs into the house, where he found Jasmine and her little brother Tyler in Tyler's bedroom. Jasmine was holding a pillow over Tyler's face, trying to suffocate him and telling him to go to sleep. Tyler was fighting for his life and trying to defend himself with his Star Wars lightsaber, but when the suffocation attempt failed, Jasmine pulled a knife out from behind her and stuck it deep into Tyler's neck, causing him to bleed out in his own bed while Jeremy watched from the hallway. With her whole family now lying dead in their home, Jasmine told Jeremy to wait 15 minutes for her while she packed her things. Jeremy went to wait outside to get some fresh air, but once he made it out, he took off running and didn't stop until he reached the trailer he shared with his mother, leaving Jasmine in the home alone. Jasmine packed and went to meet Jeremy outside, but he was nowhere to be seen, so she called a cab service to pick her up from the Richardson home and take her to Jeremy's trailer. Once the couple were together again, they devised a new plan and decided that with their newfound freedom, they were going to move to Germany, buy a castle, and get married, but first they were going to celebrate. They arranged to meet friends to drink and celebrate their freedom. The friends, of course, having no idea the horrible crimes this couple had just committed was the reason for their celebration, until Jasmine and Jeremy started bragging and even laughing about what happened in the Richardson home earlier that night. The friends were all understandably horrified, but Jeremy kept telling them that they would all be implicated if any of them alerted the authorities, even telling one friend, Casey Lancaster, that she was going to drive his pickup truck to drop himself and Jasmine off in a different town and park the truck somewhere it wouldn't be easily found. Casey Lancaster, understandably, was terrified of what this couple was capable of, so she agreed to drive Jeremy's pickup truck the next day. And so, on the 24th of April, the three of them, Casey, Jeremy, and Jasmine, all loaded into the pickup truck and started to head northeast towards Saskatchewan. The trio traveled for about 2 hours before they needed to make a gas stop. Casey pulled the truck into a gas station in Leader, and when she went inside to pay, the couple stayed inside the truck. Jeremy had noticed that Casey seemed to be taking her time paying for the gas, but didn't say anything about it when she got back into the truck. The trio then drove away from the gas station, but before they could make it out of town, Casey pulled the truck into the parking lot of a school, and before Jeremy or Jasmine could ask what was happening, the truck was surrounded by police who had been looking for Jasmine due to her suspected involvement in the murder of her family. Jeremy and Jasmine were both arrested on the scene and both charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. Jasmine pled not guilty to all 3 counts. However, on the 9th of July 2007, she was found guilty of 3 counts of first-degree murder, and on the 8th of November 2007, she was sentenced to the maximum penalty of 10 years imprisonment. Jasmine's sentence did include a credit for the 18 months she had already spent in custody, to be followed by 4 years in a psychiatric institution and 4.5 years under conditional supervision in the community, meaning she was actually released from her sentence in 2016 at the age of 23. There isn't much known about Jasmine now. She graduated from the University of Calgary in 2015. She's 29 years old, she's living in a secret location with an unknown identity, and the murder of her family would have been wiped from her criminal record a couple of years ago if she was able to stay out of trouble. On the 15th of December 2008, Jeremy was found guilty of 3 counts of first-degree murder and sentenced to 3 life sentences, but eligible for parole after 25 years. Meaning if he serves his full sentence, he won't be getting out until 2081, when he's 98 years old. All we know about Jeremy now is that in 2012, he changed his name to Jackson May and tried to appeal his conviction. However, there is yet to be a court date set for the appeal, as there is no lawyer that is currently willing to take his case. Let's hold a moment of silence in memory of the victims of this tragedy: Mark Richardson, Deborah Richardson, and Tyler Jacob Richardson. Thanks for watching Crime Labs on YouTube. Please click here to watch our other videos.